chat, I have a random question for you that I just got like curious about. What is your opinion on having a significant other that doesn't work? Depends. Depends on what? Depends on how they live the rest of their life. Let's say they clean. They like to clean the house. They cook, but they don't really have a job. And they do need a good amount of money to survive. Kind of like a stay-at-home mom or dad. You know, like a housewife, house husband kind of a thing. I'm cool with it, okay? House husbands exist? They do. And it's good, you know. It really depends, right? On how your dynamic is. Like, if let's say, you know, in a relationship, it's just a smarter thing for the husband to stay home and take care of the kids and the family, then a house husband definitely is a thing. I prefer to be a housewife and the husband to work. I volunteer to do the cooking and cleaning. Okay. I always find these kind of topics to be quite interesting. Because I'm a little stupid. Sometimes I just find people's answer interesting, so please don't feel pressure to say a certain thing or whatnot.
Cheered X300. Relationships are about give and take, in more ways than one. If they have no job, but they make up for it in other ways, such as being a good cook, a good parent to their child, and/or is a good spouse. Relationships are a team effort, so it's about how well they do at each thing that requires people to live.
I agree though. I definitely agree. Like, sometimes I feel like people brush off how important these things could be. Because like, some people would be like, oh my god, it's just cleaning, it's just cooking. But relationships is very like, you have to do it consistently for a period of time. If let's say you had a hard time at work and you come home and everything is messy and nothing is like, you have nothing to eat, and like one day is fine, but for forever, I think that's heavy, right? Like, it's exhausting. Like, if you really want to be in a adult relationship, I think you have to kind of understand that the hard part isn't like falling in love. The hard part is maintaining it for forever, I think. I don't know why I'm suddenly the one like fucking yapping about it. I would go insane with that. Yeah, it's kind of a... I think one thing that a lot of times when my friends get into relationships and immediately I'm like, oh man, I don't think this will work, is because in the start, they tend to like over tolerate things that they're like, oh, it's just a small thing. Like, it's not gonna affect us at all. Like, we're better than that. We're not like other girlfriend-boyfriend relationships. We can withstand this. But you can tell that in a couple of years, one person is gonna get really exhausted over it. And you just know it's not gonna work. So, I'm gonna be real, chat. I have something to say, but I feel like it's not valid. When the honeymoon phase ends, right? Yeah. I feel like people forget that the honeymoon phase is a thing. Like, they think it's like, oh, we fought one time, which means we're good. It's like, no. Just say it. One thing I cannot tolerate as much is the lack of initiative. More so. Like, I would say this, at least for me, I am a very ambitious person. Like, ambitious not in a sense where like I have so much ambition and like I just want to accomplish everything in the world, you know? But like, if I surround myself with people that don't have their own like goals or drive or motivation, I will get so tired. I don't know, like I can't stand it. Like, I just can't stand being around people that have nothing to live for, quote unquote.
How do you explain being here with chat then, Kek?
True, chat. Shaking my head. I didn't say that, okay? No, it's like, as a friend, I think it's fine, but realistically speaking, as a partner, I feel like it's unhealthy to just be with someone that has nothing, you know? All they do is like, look at the negative side of life and complain, or, I don't know. It feels like it's a fine thing to deal with for a couple of months, but after a year, I feel like that would be so exhausting. I don't know, like, because of that in my head, I can't date someone who isn't working. Like, in my head, it's like, I can't date someone who isn't working or doing something. Like, if I'm working and after I'm done, I go back and all I see is like them doing nothing, I think I will be so upset. That's like me personally though. I feel like a little bit it's unfair for me to think that way, because everyone has their own like situation and I shouldn't be kind of judging, I guess. In my head, I see it as judging.
Tharjay cheered X300. As humans we're always striving for the next big thing, the next achievement, the next new experience. So
Yeah.
people find people with no ambition less desirable, natural human reaction as much as it sucks. People with depression got it hard in that respect.
No, I agree though. Like, I'm not saying in the sense where it's like, I have depression. I'm not gonna fucking lie about that. Like, I got a good chunk of mental problems to me. But it's because of that I can't stand it when people have nothing, you know? I think it's because I also struggle with like similar things that it just feels more irk to me when someone just doesn't try at all. And I don't mean like doesn't try as in, oh, you know, you got depression and you don't try. Like, that's not what I mean. I mean like you don't seek help. Like, if you need help and you don't seek help and you just rely on your partner to kind of help you, I don't know why that irks me. As a friend, I don't care. But like, as a partner, I would care. You know? Because I just think it's so, like, selfish. If you're like, I'm just gonna date someone so then I have someone to vent to. Because I've been from like both sides, not dating, but my family, I have a good amount of family that have problems and they only talk to me when they need to vent. And it's so exhausting. Like, I this will sound selfish, but that is so exhausting. And the fact that some people sees that as like, oh, but if you love me, you'll listen to me. It's like, yes, but if all you do is always talk about your struggles every single day and you never try to look for help, like, you know how scary it is? Just thinking that your loved one is gonna die. It's like, if that's in your head every single day, right? Like, a little bit, as someone that has mental problems, and this will sound very, like, this is the only thing I do actually have an opinion on, right? Most of the time, I'm very chill with everything. No opinion. Like, you do you, whatever. But there's one thing that I kind of have an opinion on. Like, back then, when I was really young, I got trauma dumped. Haha. But, like, when I was really, really young, my mom was, like, kind of, she doesn't want to live. You know what I mean? So, she would tell me a lot of the times how she's like, oh my god, I don't want to be here anymore. And shit like that. And as a kid, like, I didn't realize it, but until today, I'm so scared of people leaving me. Like, I'm so scared because ever since I was a kid, in my head, I'm like, what if I wake up one day and my mom's not there? And she would like make it, like, she would just say like, oh, it's just me. What is it, like, churhat? What is churhat in English? Like, venting? Or like opening up, right? Or just like talking to the abyss or something like that. But as a kid, you understand what it means. Like, you understand that like if something happens, she'll like break like a twig. And you get it, you know? Like, you don't understand the concept of death as a kid, but you understand the concept of not having something you like, right? So growing up, I've had that fear so much. And until now, like, I hate how people would be like, oh my god, woe is I have a mental problem, listen to me. Like, you have to just sit there, listen to me, and always understand to me because I have a mental problem. And people are default, like, as people, we're like default to have to show empathy all the time. And I don't know, I hate it. Like, I'm not coming from a place that's like, oh my god, chat, I'm healthy. I have a lot of mental issues. I hate making people do that. Like, I would only open up to either a therapist or when I really, really need it. I'm not gonna burden people with like daily shit. A therapist is there for a reason. Like, I don't know. I hate how some people use it as pity. That's all. Like, it's just weird to me. Again, like, when I say hate, I don't mean I'm like, oh my god, people like that, disgusting hate. Kwak chui. No, it's like, I get it. It's fine, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, your actions is good. I'm not gonna sit here and tell people like, please burden other people. You know, like, venting is good once in a while, but if you're at that point where you need a solution and you feel like you need to vent to someone every single day, get a therapist. Trust me, it will make your life better because you'll actually fix the problem. And the other person is not going, like, you're not scared of burdening other people. I also don't mean like, don't vent ever, right? Talking to people is important, but there's always limits. Like, you gotta know your limitations. If you're at that point where you need to talk to someone every single day or else you'll break, talk to a therapist. If you can't afford a therapist, then communicate it to the other person so they understand your situation, you know? Like, you can't just talk to someone and just hope they understand. You have to make it clear so the other person understands, like, hey, is this okay? Is this not? Something like that. I don't know. That's why I just, like, I can't be with someone that, in my opinion, is like, they don't try. And nowadays, in this time, right? Getting a job equals trying, but I don't think it's like always the job thing. I think as long as you try, like, as long as I can see the effort, then I would be okay with it. Because being the only one trying in a relationship is also very exhausting, right? So I understand that there's people that can't afford therapists. Like, I'm not gonna lie, chat. I used to have a therapist, and then until around 2 years ago, I couldn't get one anymore. So I get it. Like, I get it, Queen. But that's where you have to tell people. Like, you have to be good at communicating. Sad face. I mean, it's fine because I know how to deal with myself. Like, I've been in therapy for very, very long. So most of my shit, like, I know how to handle it. Like, I don't break so easily anymore, kind of a thing, right? But as I keep saying, like, you have to really communicate, because during that time, I told my family basically, like, to a T what's going on with me. I tell them specifically what's going on, how I feel, how I think, and what I need. And I'm like, if you ever think it's a bit too far or today's not a good day, please just tell me. I will understand. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you have to make sure the other person's okay too. Since 3 weeks ago, yeah. No, like, genuinely, yeah. There's actually one thing. A lot of my friends been urging me to go get therapy. But not because something's wrong. It's just like, to make sure everything's okay. Or like prevention. Like preventative therapy and not like fixing stuff, because I used to be I used to be more manic is all I'll say. I don't want to like talk in too much about it because it's a bit like weird, champ, but I used to be like manic, and it's so weird because now I'm so like flat, right? Like, I'm so like, okay, well, realistically this is how I see it, let's just amp up the optimism. Like, that's how I see life. But holy shit, chat, like, back then I used to be very like manic. Like, I was aggressive manic or like destructive. And then I went to therapy, and then I'm not like that anymore, which is nice. But my friends recently have been urging me to be like, you should go back to therapy now that you actually can afford it again. You should get back to therapy just to make sure you're all okay in the heart. And I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna be real with you, I don't know. In my head I'm like, oh, but do I need it? I don't know. Because streaming can get to you. I get that. Like, trust me, I totally get that. Maybe it's my Asian mentality or some shit. I don't know, bro. But in my head, I'm like, I'm just better. In my head, I'm like, nah, bro, I win these. I'm better. I know it's unhealthy to think that way though. Like, I'm not crazy. I know that it's like, it's not good for me to just be like, nah, bro, I'm better, skill diff. Like, Michi, you should go to therapy to make sure everything's okay and you're not like, you know, your PTSD isn't killing you from the inside out. And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm better. Yeah, literally, it's like, nah, I'd win. And just be British and bottle up the important issues and constantly complain about the tiniest one. Dude, that's one thing I hate. I kind of noticed it, actually. I noticed it with Kuro. Like, I think Kuro's the only person I know that's like British. Actually, no, that's not true, but like the closest one I know that's British. And he does that. Like, he would complain about the littlest things, but big issues, he'd be like, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, it is what it is, isn't it, bruv? Just go with it. And I'm like, no, like, you have to address that. And he's like, nah, it's fine.
Wall_summer shared X500. I know we bully you a lot, but I just want you to know, ever since you joined vshojo and started streaming, your energy and personality fill me with so much happiness. And every day I be waiting for you to go live. I am glad that you are here, Mishim 30 heart, Mishim 30 heart.
I am also very glad to be here. Don't worry, like, when I say like, nah, I'd win, I also know myself, chat. Like, if it's to a very bad point, I will get therapy. Like, I'm not crazy, right? But like, right now, I just feel like it's not bad. I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know, I just feel like I'm not... Like, I don't need it super duper bad. And, ooh, the thing is with therapy that I am like considering twice of is the energy. Because I will say this, right? People glorify therapy like it's so easy, but if you need to hear this, then you'll hear it from me, okay? As someone that has unironically years worth of therapy, like, it's exhausting. I feel like no one told me how exhausting therapy actually is. It is physically, emotionally exhausting, and it's quite time consuming. Because anything that's worth it takes a lot of time, right? And working on yourself takes a lot of time. It's worth it though. Like, therapy is definitely very worth it, and you should do it if you feel like you need help. Then therapy is really, really good. But I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh, therapy is like this beautiful place that everyone just goes in, talks to one person for 3 hours, and then feel better instantly. It's not. It is exhausting. Like you will, like every day you'll be like, holy shit, am I good? Like you're like, am I okay? Am I mentally okay? Who have I hurt in my life? Like you will think so much that your head will feel exhausting. It will come naturally to you though. Like everything will come naturally, but you will have to go through a good amount of emotional turmoil. And if you're the type of person that don't like dealing with how you feel, then you will probably not, like it won't be as easy as people that enjoy talking about how they feel and talk about themselves. It will be a bit harder for you. Because like I know this because I'm the same. Like I don't like people acknowledging the fact that I'm weak. I don't know, like that sounds so anime pro tag, right? But like I mean it more in a sense where it's like I don't like the fact that there is a person in the world that knows that
Perfectionist Michi
they can't rely on me.
I started
You know?
therapy when I was 13. After a year of talking about my childhood and family, she made me realize that my childhood was shit, and I was like, oh, aware?
Yeah, that like literally the aware moment hits. Like we joke about it. We're like, oh, aware? No, but like that shit hits. I don't know. I am very used to being like the reliable person in a sense. Like I know I'm very stupid and I don't sound reliable at all. But like I like being more reliable, or I like people thinking that I can be reliable. You know, so. Knowing that my therapist is there and knowing that they know that I am not reliable makes me very angry. I'm like, unacceptable behavior from my end. I'm sorry. I don't know. It was a very odd feeling. It's the same thing as like kids nowadays. They're like, haha, all I have to do is take my antidepressants and all my cute little problems will go away. And they glorify it. And I'm like, oh, sweaty. Sweaty. For some people, it does do that, where it's like you take antidepressants and all your problems go away. But sweaty. If you're the unlucky few, it doesn't feel as good as you think it does. Usually in therapy, like, oh, there are actually some therapy that doesn't require meds, actually. If it's not, like, really, really bad, I don't think it's needed, I think. I mean, I'm not a professional, so you consult, right? But there was a time during my therapy, well, where they said, like, I don't need to take meds anymore. That's a thing. That's why I'm saying it. Oh, the side effects are just something, all right. The side effects are something indeed, chat. That's why I think nowadays it's important for people to be realistic. You know, like, know what they're getting into and know what to expect, I guess, because I feel like nowadays there's a lot of like people glorify certain habits, right? Like the concept of drinking your problems away is kind of portrayed in a cooler way, or smoking and stuff like that. Same thing with having a mental problem. It's like, I mean, it doesn't feel good. I'll be honest, like, especially in the start, in your first 3 weeks of therapy, it doesn't feel good at all. You will feel a bit shitty. I'm gonna be honest, not a bit. Like, you'll feel a good amount shitty. But long term, it helps.
Perfectionist Michi X300. Antidepressant has been helping me a lot for the past 17 years. Downside is that I don't feel any other emotion, but I'm glad that I'm not sad anymore.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like, me personally, it helped a lot until I started going to college. And I took art college, so I had to be creative and I had to, you know, think outside the box and like, yeah, anything to do with creativity, that was hell. Like, I literally could not think. Like, they're like, what's your interpretation of this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how this makes me feel. Literally, So that was like the minus part of it. I don't drink and smoke, so I'ma just eat. Oh, I wish I was like that. I ain't gonna lie. I wish that I don't rely on other things and I can just eat. Eating sounds like a fun little thing I can do. Meh. I wanna be a... Dick is in the cock. What the fuck? What? Hehe. It's the Minecraft. It's the Minecraft thing. It's making me... Dick is in the cock? Who's Dick? That shit was hilarious.